Hello. How's everyone doing? Hope these last couple days have been relaxing for you. We are going to get started with day one of e-learning or V-learning, whatever you want to call it. On Friday, I gave you guys a copy of this. I hope you still have it because this is what I'm going to be doing for the next 3 days. This was your math acceleration study guide. So all I want to do is go over the questions with you, keep this stuff fresh in your head so that you remember it. All right, so I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to work on this. All I need for you to do is pay attention, and then at the end I'll explain how you're going to show me that you did it. All right, so I'm turning this around. Sorry for the twist here. Whoa. Okay. Today we're only doing the first 2 pages. So the first 2 questions are about choosing which is the best group of people to ask this question to. So you're looking at like bias versus unbiased. So the first question says, in a survey about a new skate park, which group is least likely to be a bias sample? Randomly chosen drivers, randomly chosen dog walkers, randomly chosen voters, or randomly chosen joggers. So here the best one would be C, the voters. The other 3 are all dealing with specific type of people that might have some sort of bias when it comes to a skate park. So the most random of these would be the voters. Okay, the second question. Your school is choosing a new mascot. Which group should you ask to get a random sample of student opinions? 15 7th grade students, 30 first and second graders, every 10th student who enters the building in the morning, or the cheerleading club. So the best choice here would be C. It's the most random of the choices. These 2 are focusing on specific grades. This is a specific club. So we want to go with the most random one, which would be C. Question 3. Natalie and Davion want to know what rides teens prefer at the amusement park. They each had different ideas on how to choose their sample. Natalie thinks we should ask 100 teens with even-numbered tickets at the entrance. Davion said he can ask the first 50 teens in line at the Ferris wheel, and Tina can ask the 50 teens in line at the water ride. Whose sampling method is better, and explain? So here, Natalie has a better method. The reason is that hers is random, where Davion is asking people who are in front of a specific ride. So you could say because hers is more random, his is asking people at a specific ride. Okay, and then the second part to this question is to survey their sample. Natalie poses the question, do you like the Ferris wheel best? Determine whether or not this question is bias. So this would be a bias question. The reason it's bias is because she includes the word best. When you include words like best and worst and things like that, you're trying to go after people's emotion, and that's not the ideal way to do it. Okay, we want to stay as general as possible. So you could say she includes the word best. We don't want to do things like that. Okay, she should have just said, what's your favorite ride? And that would be a more general way to ask it. Okay, now we're just going to do this next page and then we are done. So these next 2, actually this whole page is dealing with proportions. So it's where you're trying to find a missing piece based on a sample that was done. So this number 4 says, a town has 25,000 registered voters. A random sample of 500 voters finds that 250 are in favor of a new dog park. How many voters are likely to vote for the dog park? So we first want to start with our sample because they give us both pieces of information about the sample, 250 out of 500 people. When we set that fraction equal to the actual number of people, we don't know how many actual people will be voting for our dog park, but we know that there's 25,000 of actual voters. So here's our proportion. We do our cross multiply then divide method. So in your calculator, you would want to do 250 times 25,000. That's going to give you 6,250,000 equals 500x, and we divide both sides by 500. X equals 12,500 voters. Make sure you are labeling your answer. So that's telling us that in reality, or like an actual situation, we would assume that 12,500 people would be in favor of the dog park. Second question, just like that, a random sample of 40 was taken from a shipment of 12,000 light bulbs. There were 2 broken light bulbs in the sample. How many broken bulbs do you expect to be in the entire shipment? So we want to look at the sample to start. 2 were broken out of 40 total in the sample. If there was actually 12,000 light bulbs in the sample, how many do we think are broken? So here's our actual, here's our sample. We do the same method as we just did, cross multiply, then divide. So in your calculator, you do 2 times 12,000, that gives you 24,000, equals 40x. Divide both sides by 40. Again, I would use your calculator for this. And x equals 600, and you would say bulbs. So we're assuming then that there would be 600 broken bulbs in that shipment. Question 6 is, again, a proportion type question. It tells us there are 2,200 animals in city shelters. The results below show a random sample of animals. So it tells us there's 44 dogs, 30 cats, and 6 birds. So first we need to figure out how many total animals there are in the sample. So you'd add up these 3 numbers and you get 80. So if there's 80 animals in the shelter, we would set up a proportion, or sorry, if there's 80 animals in the sample, we use our sample numbers and compare it to the total. So let's start with dogs. 44 over 80 equals x over 2,200. We would do that for cats too. 30 over 80 equals x over 2,200. And last, birds. 6 over 80 equals x over 2,200. For all of these, we're going to do our cross multiply, then divide. So 44 times 2,200, and then divide that by 80, and you get 1,210 dogs should be in city animal shelters total based on our sample. Do it for cats. 30 times 2,200, divide that by 80, and you get 825 cats. Lastly, birds. 6 times 2,200, hit equals, divide it by 80, and you get 165 birds. We can always double check and make sure that our totals add up to the total amount of actual animals. So 1210 plus 825 plus 165 should equal 2,200. You can check that on your calculator, and if it does, then yep, we know we're right. Okay, so that's the first 2 pages. Tomorrow we're going to do the next 2, and then we're going to do the last 2. So I'm interested to know how many of you actually just listened to my whole spiel. So what I want you to do, if you did listen to this, I want you to email me what your favorite pet is out of dogs, cats, or birds. That's your way of proving to me that you listened to my video today. So email Kathleen Cipolla at sd54.org and tell me, do you like dogs, cats, or birds best? I'm looking forward to your emails, and I will see or talk to you more in a video tomorrow. All right, don't forget to wash your hands. Bye-bye.